Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach, and welcome to the first look at my side for 2021. Got me microphone here, so hopefully that's coming through loud and clear. Went out and purchased the old Yeti. Technology isn't my strong suit, but the guy at JB Hi-Fi said it was good, so he got commission. That was all good. But I've had a couple of cracks at a few sides, but this is the first one I wanted to put out there. You know, I've sort of been fiddling around, and I've been a little bit late to the party. Obviously with the season finishing later, started my videos up a little bit later, but nonetheless, let's take a look at my side, and I'm going to go through it sort of spot by spot, try and build a little bit of suspense, but I reckon there'll be a few surprises in there, but let's see how we go. If you haven't already, check out all the club by club previews. They're in a playlist. You can check out the majority of those. Got a couple coming up as well. Did a table tennis video. Me and a few mates filmed that. So that should be up, if not by now, over the next couple of days. So I think it's coming out on Friday, so it's probably already up. But let's get stuck into the side, and I would love to hear your thoughts, basically on my side, but also any changes you might make or any guys you really like. There aren't too many real sort of surprises in terms of Whitfield being selected. He's one of my absolute faves. Let's try and scroll down here. That might be a little bit more fun. So obviously I love Whitfield. He's been in my side many years. I honestly reckon there's a little bit of value. He could possibly, I reckon he could average 110. So he's one of my favourites. Another one of my favourites is, of course, Caleb Daniel. He's just such a beautiful kicker. I just love watching him play. He's not going to give you too many 150s, but he just gets the job done. He'll always score 90, just effective kick after effective kick. He's a fantastic decision maker. And another one of my absolute faves too, and I've been banging on about him for most of the pre-season. He is a man who has joined Carlton, and that is Zach Williams. So I think he's a star. I loved him at the Giants, loved him off the halfback flank. I love his creativity, his flair, his dash. We're going to see a lot of that in the midfield now. There's no doubt he'll play midfield. Don't get worried about him playing off halfback. He'll be in the guts, and I think he'll thrive. You know, we've already seen him do it for the Giants. We've seen him on that run to the grand final. He was playing, basically due to injuries, he was playing through the middle. So he is one of my absolute favourites. And of course, a glaring omission. Some of you might be saying, where the hell's Jake Lloyd? But I will not be starting with him. It's a mistake I've made before. Hopefully it doesn't bite me on the ass. But, I mean, why? Look, I just hate paying that much for defenders. And honestly, I just think, how much longer can he keep it up? I know that's a ridiculous thing to say because he's done it time and time again. I just think he's too expensive. And there were some guys that I just preferred far more at that price in different positions. So we'll round out. I think once we get to the rookies, I'll just search them up. I mean, they don't really matter now, but we are making our way to the mid-priced section, which, you know, isn't something I always endorse, but this bloke is destined for some midfield time in a struggling club. He's been training with the mids. His name is Wayne Miller. Now, that is perhaps going to be controversial. He's very much needs to impress me through the pre-season. I really like the look of him. Very talented, got great evasive skills, and the fact that he just hasn't quite got it right with his body, but he has been able to score off the halfback flank. And I think if he gets a chance in the midfield, even just some midfield time, I think he could be extremely damaging. But look, he's in my side for now. He's hardly locked in, you know. I just like the look of him. We've still got quite a number of weeks to go. But for the minute, he's there. I like the look of him. If we scroll down, this next one will surprise you. This one's a little left field one, and I just wonder what you think. Boom. Hayden Young. I think he's a star on the rise. Not too much is known about him in Victoria because we often don't see the WA guys as much and often don't give him as much credit. But you know, if you just look at some of his highlights, he made a big statement in those few games that he did play in his debut year. High pick, good mark, exquisite kick. Like, he's one of the best kicks coming through the game, and that's what I love most about him. Of course, I need to wait and see that he has a defined role off half-back, but the early reports I've read, looking very good in the pre-season, and he'll be looking to establish himself in the side. And I think at that price, it's good enough. I'm happy with that for the minute. We then do just sort of round things out with some rookies, which, they'll sort themselves out. These are blokes that I put about half a second thought into. If I liked, if I'd seen the name in the draft or whatnot, that was good enough for me. But don't stress too much about the rookies and that, because they sort themselves out. But closer to the season, we'll know exactly which rookies to pick. Onto the midfield. Now, I do like to stack the midfield. Historically, I haven't always liked playing mid-prices through there. You'll see a couple of exceptions. Now, look, it's early days. I might not have the balls to follow through with it when the actual season opener, when it comes to it. Do I have the pills to continue? We'll see. But let's start with some simple ones. Lachie Neale, absolute superstar. Clayton Oliver, one of my absolute favourites. And then if we just work our way down to one of my other favourites, I just think he's an absolute jet of the competition. One of the best players to watch with that left foot, Josh Kelly. Absolutely love him. And then if we just roll down to a guy who I think will be in everybody's side, and so they should be, is Paddy Cripps. He struggled last year, carried a massive load, shoulders were a bit sore. He'll get a bit more support, and I think we'll see a fit and firing Paddy Cripps this year. And when he's fit, it's 110 plus, no doubt about it. So to get him at that price, absolute bargain. Now roll your eyes over this one. Now, many people have got Matty Rowell in that M4, M5 position and around this price range. Look at that, 52%. Well, I'm going to fork out an extra $4,000. I'm going to pick Jai Simpkin. Now, that's a big call, clearly, but I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's one of the smoother movers in the game. I've got a lot of Christian Petrarca vibes about him, from last year. I think he's just going to really explode. And I'll do a video purely on the midfield, but there's not a stack of premiums that I really love. Some I feel are getting towards the end of it. Some I feel are just overpriced. And some I just can't trust. So I wanted to have a fair bit of firepower in the midfield. And I settled on those big four, with Neale, Oliver,
No.
Well, it wouldn't be a Shorty video without a bit of a technology flaw. Apparently the service I use only does 10-minute videos and then it clocks you out. So I just cracked the shits for the last 20 seconds and realised why. But anyway, we'll carry on. Jai Simpkin. I think he's an unbelievable talent. I've liked him from a long way out. When he was drafted, I really liked what he brought to the table. Saw some really good signs last year, particularly early. I think Cunnington coming back will actually be a positive. We saw him have a couple of slumps throughout the year, but it's actually his ball use that let him down at times. He averaged quite a few clangers, but I don't think that'll be an issue. I think he'll just, as another year into the system, because he's a nice kick. So the fact that he averages a lot of clangers, I feel as if there's definitely a lot of room for growth. I think he'll evolve as a player, more responsibility at North Melbourne, and he's come back looking amazing. So it's a big tick for me. I prefer him so much more than Matty Rowell. I really do. So that's how I'm rolling at the minute. But a lot of people are talking about Walsh, Rowell. I'm in Camp Simpkin. So that's it for me. And look, we'll scroll down as well. And I've got one giant in my side already. And I've already scrolled past Taranto, but we're going to get another giant in there. And again, this may surprise you. No, it's not Kellen Ward. Keep scrolling. Really get deep into that mid-price range. Oh, Tommy Green, how you going? Welcome to my side, Tom. I think he's got Clayton Oliver vibes. I referenced Petrarca before. This bloke has some real Clayton Oliver vibes. Inside bull, just a clearance king from his junior days, and we saw glimpses in his first year. Clayton Oliver did similar, and he had a massive second year, brought it up to like 110. I don't expect that from Green because he probably won't get as much responsibility in the Giants midfield. There's quite a few stars where Oliver wasn't contending for as much midfield time in a weaker Demons side, but I love Tommy Green. A bit like Miller, we'll wait and see. They need to convince me. We need to see what role they're playing, but at the minute we're 7 weeks out or whatever it is. I think he's a great option and I really like him. It's sort of breaking a rule of mine, but I'm picking him. So for now, I say I'm picking him. For now, he's in my side and I'm really comfortable with it. So I'd love to know your thoughts. And this bloke that I'm going to pick here, I think he's well priced and I think his upside is huge. I'm a big Cats supporter, so I know what he can do. And Jordan Clark, it's about time that he's going to really step up. First round pick a couple of years back. We've seen him playing a wing, half back. And as a Geelong fan, you're probably going, mate, he won't even get a game. As a Geelong supporter, he needs to get a game. We need a player like Jordan Clark in the side, whether it's wing, whether it's more in the back line. I think at 240k, and I can swing him to the back line if I want, but I think he's got huge upside. He's looking good on the track. So for now, I really like that prospect. We'll just top the liquids up there and we'll roll out the rookies, which I'll just smash out as I did before. Just got my side written down next to me just so I'm not fumbling around. Cooper Stevens, another top pick for the Cats. You know, he'll probably struggle to get a game unless he has a really good preseason, but you never know. Ruck department. I'm not going Gawn. I'm going Grundy, and I'm going to go Bruce. The ruck's pretty straightforward. I think Bruce is super popular, and for good reason. What is his ownership? It'd be 50 plus, wouldn't it? 60? 32. Wow. I'm surprised. I guess a lot of people are Gawn and Grundy operators, aren't they? But nonetheless, I really like Bruce. Of course, like with most things, we need to see what he's doing through the pre-season. Does he look good? Is he the number one man? For sure. But at the moment, I'm quite happy with his price. I love what he can do as a solo ruck. Should get that opportunity. Got a tough couple of opponents early, but that's okay. I'm happy with that. Fits in nicely with my side. Now, forward line, I'm not going Dangerfield. I love him to bits, but just the issues he's had through the pre-season concerns me. Paying a lot of coin. He may play a little bit more forward. You wouldn't think, given Cameron's come to the side, but I read an article about them talking about it, so that always just makes your heart skip a beat a touch. So I'm going side bottom. I reckon there's not much value in side, but he's about top end as well. But I think you're going to want to have him at some stage. So I may as well start with him. And Dustin Martin, I think he's a massive no-brainer. Huge no-brainer. I'm not going Marshall, but he's been in my side quite a bit over the pre-season. It worries me ever so slightly, anyone who's sharing the ruck. Anyone who could spend a lot of time in the forward 50 as a key post concerns me. But he's a class act, and he's every chance to start in my team. But Isaac Heaney, yes, I know, I'm obsessed with him, but he is a star in the making. He is injured at the moment, and he's probably the most clouded selection in my whole side. The fact that he's probably racing the clock for round one, I mean, I just ruled out Dangerfield for the same reason. It's just the fact that Heaney's a hell of a lot cheaper. There isn't a stack of forwards that I like. I've sort of spent a fair bit of coin in that midfield, and you could argue the back line. This forward line is probably something I wouldn't mind looking at a little bit more because, as you'll see, I scroll quite a bit for my F4, and I'm not sure how comfortable I am with it. I mean, it is Jack Zeeble at F4. You know, I think he's a great selection, but do you want him at F4? I don't know. Let me just round out these rookies and you can have a look at my overall side. I do like the fact that there seem to be some reasonable rookies that should play and should score, so I didn't mind exposing them on the field. But we'll learn a hell of a lot more about the rookies. Saunders is just placeholder. There'll be some rookie price that takes our fancy somewhere. Yeah, so the rookies, they'll unveil themselves, but that is my side. I'm really happy with the back line. I'm happy with that structure. I honestly love the Hayden Young selection. Miller, we'll wait and see. I love the midfield at the moment. I'm massive on Simpkin. I really love Tom Green's prospects as well, and I like going big time in the midfield. 4 big guns who can just all be captain options, all be VC options. Should get me off to a good start, I hope. Grundy and Bruce has been my ruck combo since day dot. And this forward line, maybe has work to do. Just the 3 premiums, then we drop all the way down to Zeeble. I think Zeeble will be a good selection off half back. Pretty safe, reliable scoring position. But then we're a bit exposed in the rookie front. So it's early days. What do we got? 42 days to go by the time I post this. It's a work in progress. I'm really happy with it at the moment. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of changes as we start actually seeing some games. So let me know what you reckon of my side. If there's anything you'd change. If I've lost my mind with a couple of these mid-prices, let me know. I'll be back with another video very shortly. Not sure when I'll post this, but we've got a fair bit of content coming over the weekend. Club-by-club previews and a bit of a table tennis video as well. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. And I settled on those big 4, with Neil, Oliver, Kelly, Cripps. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why?